Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulott and welcome to Adventure Backcountry. If you've been following our channel, you know that we are in the process of rebuilding a 93 and a 91 YJ. Kind of a blast from the past, so to speak. And I think some of us, as we age a little bit, we have trouble giving up those things from the past, those times from the past. And we might actually kind of live that out as we restore our old vehicles and put them back to use and make them relevant in today's fast-paced world, okay? Not only does that just apply to the Jeeps, for me, I dug this old JVC camera out of mothballs. This camera was in use by me at the same time as my 93 YJ, okay? This camera was utilized to film, at that time, a lot of martial arts videos, which I was selling on Black Belt Magazine, actually one of the first vendors selling on Black Belt Magazine. And I even picked up some TV commercials with this camera for the local cable company that I did on the side. All of this while I was still involved in law enforcement, as I am today, just kind of as side work, okay? Those of you that know me know that I did have a couple of martial arts studios that were very successful, as well as a video production company, mainly focusing on martial arts training videos. So this old X2 camcorder here was, and still is, quite the beast of a unit. So it runs on half-inch tape, okay, or I should say it records on half-inch tape. It's got 3 half-inch CCD sensors in it, and at the time of its use, it was actually top of the line, okay, in that particular price range. Okay, so very popular amongst event videographers, higher-end event videographers, cable companies, universities, and news, ENG news gathering as well. So this camera's seen a lot. It hasn't been fired up in years. So my thought with this particular video, as I filmed the introduction here on the Panasonic GY-X2u in brilliant 4K video, is can we take a minute and see if this old beast will fire up again? And if it does fire up, can we actually record some video with it? And will that video be relevant today? How cool would it be to film some clips, not a whole video, but maybe just a few clips here and there of the 93 YJ in action with a 93 model camcorder. I think that would be neat. We do have a couple of obstacles we have to overcome. As I said, this thing runs on, if it'll even fire up, in fact, it records on SVHS half-inch tapes, okay? Back in that day, they were 400 lines of resolution, and I don't have any. There's some of them that are still available on Amazon, but they're quite expensive. And the other thing is getting half-inch tape footage to digital, okay? Now, I got a couple of options here. On the JVC camera, there's a 7-pin S-video output right here. Well, I lost that cable, and I've already done an extensive search. I cannot find another one. So I have a BNC for just composite video out, but the difference in quality between composite video and S-video out is very noticeable. The S-video is by far superior. And back in the day when I used this in the studio environments, at times I would just run an S-video cable out to a digital recording deck, what would have been a DV cam recording deck, and I filmed studio footage like that, and that DV cam footage was superior to the footage from the camera. So those are a couple of obstacles we're going to have to overcome. So what we're going to do now is, I'm going to unwrap this power supply. This is the power supply that came with the camera, and we're going to connect everything up, and we're just going to see if it'll fire up. One issue that we run into with old electronics, as some of you may know, is the capacitors tend to dry out, and when they do, the item no longer works. We don't know if that's the condition with this or not. It hasn't been turned on in more than a decade, okay? So we're gonna take a break here, move some things around. We're gonna get some power out here and get this power supply on this camera, and let's see if after, I would say at least 15 years, maybe longer, this thing's gonna fire up. We'll be back. Okay, so we've got everything we need here. I got the power supply out here. I've got an extension cord run. This doesn't look too bad. Okay, so the big question is if I can remember how all this connects, because it's been a minute. All right, this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to get my power cord in, set that there. Let me get some energy to this. All right. We have a red light. That is a promising sign right there, okay? So the next step is going to be, so let's get the 12-volt power cord hooked up to the camera. Just bring it to the power supply. Okay, camera is in the off position. All right, it clicked. See what happens. Wow. It fired up. Iris adjusted. Don't have any audio, but I got a light. I've got video. And the servo's working on the zoom. How about that? Okay. So it fires up. We've got power. I don't have audio. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Or it's not showing audio. You know, if I remember correctly, I do believe you have to have a tape in this before the audio meters activate, and that's what I do not have. Tape opens, tape closes, okay. Okay, camera, no, that didn't get it. Audio. Okay, well, we can troubleshoot that, but everything appears to be recording or to be working. So the next step is going to be, how do we get video out of this, okay? So I'd like to record something with it now, but I've got an idea. So anyway, I'm going to cut this right at here for now and be back in just a minute, and I'll show you what I'm thinking. Okay, so I've come up with an idea utilizing this older Sony HDV, I guess it's like a video Walkman. It's an old field recorder that we use. We used these when we filmed El Negocio. This battery still shows to have some juice in it. So let's see if this fires up. And it does. Okay, I've even got an old tape in here. How about that? Okay, so this records on mini DV tapes. So this, this unit here, which was probably purchased in about 2006, 2007, when DV and DV cam formats were really popular. I don't think it'll record HD from this camera. I think that it'll only take composite. It's got composite inputs right here on the side. I think it'll, boy, I wish I had that S-video cable. It'll only record in DV mode, okay, which is standard definition. It's 4:3 format. Aspect ratio, so it's going to be narrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook video out and audio out to video in, audio in on the DV recorder. Shut that off for now because I got to do a little programming on it. And then I can record the tape there. I got a tape in there, but better yet, I should be able to come out firewire out of that device and go to this old Sony MC1 field recorder, and this records on compact flash cards. So I know that's a lot of rigmarole just to get some video, but I'm anxious to get something shot with this today, okay? So now, since we're kind of going back in time, bringing this out, I think it's only fair at this part if, as I hook all this up, we drop down to standard definition. So I'm going to take the DVX, actually I'm going to get my old Sony camera out, and it has DV format, same format as what we're going to record in here. So we're going to switch out for a minute, and we're going to record in standard definition, 4:3 aspect ratio, just like we would be recording with the X2, just to kind of level the playing field a little bit. And we're going to hook all this up and see if we can capture something. We'll be back. Okay, so we're recording with the Sony Z7U in standard DV format, 4:3 aspect ratio, which is what this thing's going to record. And we're simultaneously recording with the GY-X2u in HD, kind of as a cutaway camera. So I've had the X2 on all this time, and it's holding up. It's staying on, and I'm really surprised that these capacitors have held up over all these years. I did not think that this was going to turn on, and as it heats up, you know, that's when they tend to blow out, at least as far as I know. So the next step is going to be what happens when we fire up the mini DV deck here. Okay, so I've got the inputs from the camera out. It's composite. Okay, cheap cable. This was the best cable I have. I just don't have a lot of this gear around, and this should automatically sense the camera as we turn it on. Got batteries holding, it's coming on, and wow, we have a picture. We have a picture. Okay, so a little bit of zoom. Outstanding. So we have something to work with here. Let me get my display up here. Status check. Okay, I've got audio. All right, so I'm pretty sure that that these audio settings have to be. You have to have a tape in here to make it work. So it's set. It's audio on the left channel only right now. Let me get the right channel. Okay, there. I got the right channel to mimic the left channel, and I've got audio on both channels. And it's recording with the on-camera mic. I can turn up the gain a little bit. I don't think this has, if I recall right, it does not have auto audio balancing in it. It's all strictly manual. Okay, so yeah, that's a good sign. We've got a picture. We've got some activity. Everything seems to be holding up. Okay, and a little static there. And there's a shot of the cat house right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit record. See if this tape's working here. All right, there's time code. Shows to be recording. And it's pretty dark over there, so it looks a little bit grainy. Stop. Let's hit play. There's an old video there. Rewind a bit. We have video. All right, so here's what the next step is going to be. I know I can record on tape. All right, so that works. Can I record on memory? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap these cameras around. I'm going to put the X2 there as our primary camera, and I'm going to bring the Sony and the DVX out here just for props, give us something to look at, and let's see if we can get some video on this, and let's see what it looks like. So give me a minute to switch this around and we'll be back. Okay, so we've had a slight setback here. Let me explain. So if you take a look at the image that's up on the screen right now, look how soft and grainy it is, and it almost has a green tint to it. Okay, so first of all, the BNC cable is definitely softening up the image compared to the older video you saw at the beginning of the program. But if you can see on this camera right here, there's a filter wheel at this point. So there's filter 1 setting is for 3200 Kelvin, filter 2 setting is for 5600 Kelvin, and filter 3 is 5600 plus your ND filter. Okay, well, this is broke. I went to set it in the 2 position, and it just spun out. Okay, and when it did that, the wheel was stuck halfway between 2 filters with a metal divider in there that was actually covering the sensor. So I don't know how it was getting any image at all. So I was up late last night. I took this plate off trying to get to it. It's kind of a sealed module in there, and so what I ended up doing was I put the plate back on, and I took the lens off and took the glass off that covers this port. And I don't know what any of these terms are called. I'm not an electrician. Okay, I'm not a technician for cameras, but anyway, so I took that. It's like a prism. I took that prism off, and I manually adjusted the filter wheel into the number 2 position. So it's locked in number 2, which is 5600 Kelvin for outdoor. So if, for instance, I needed to shoot outdoor on a bright sunny day and I wanted to use an ND, I would either have to just screw on over the top or go in here and open this up again, which is pretty easy to do. It's only 3 screws, and manually turn that wheel. So anyway, that's where we're at for right now. I did order a better BNC cable, okay, to try to upgrade the video output. That little skinny cable was just not getting the job done, and as soon as that gets in, we're going to come back and reshoot some video with the X2. Okay, so I think that's going to be as good as we're going to get it. We've got the JVC camera working. We've got video out, composite video out into the mini DVD deck, and from that we're going FireWire out, and it's recording simultaneously. We're not recording on mini DV tape, we're recording directly on FireWire, okay? I'm also simultaneously recording an SVHS. Now, the audio circuits on this camera do not like this microphone, okay? So you may hear some cracking in there. We'll just have to sort that out, okay? So anyway, we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna take it outside. We'll shoot a few clips outside in Super VHS, but when we capture that, it'll be, once again, not through the best cable, okay? So it's not gonna be full resolution. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this trip back to 1993, more or less. And if we can get this sorted out, there's a good possibility this JVC camera may be out on the trail with us filming that 1993 Jeep, okay, with this iconic 1993 JVC camera. So we'll try to get the bugs worked out and see if we can bring you some of that. Not full videos, but just some short clips for nostalgia's sake. But anyway, y'all take care. Be sure and like and subscribe to our channel. That helps us out. Everybody be safe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, Jeep in the garage. Not exactly a flattering shot. And there's gray Jeep in sunlight. Partly cloudy. And I do not have an ND filter. Just a partial shot. And this is infinity focus. There's not much to see out here today. It's a kind of a gray day. I can see detail in the clouds. So bring it down. Let's go towards the sun. And like I said, this is without a neutral density filter. I'm just shooting randomly out here. Every function's in auto. I know they're a little sad looking, but we just had a freeze and we're fixing to get another one. All right, so we've been giving you some test shots outside. This is in Super VHS. We'll dump this to the digital deck for capture. No image stabilization, no autofocus. The white balance is set with the wheels, or you have to manually set it. So it's got 3 presets, or you manually set it. So this is definitely old school shooting, but back in that day, that's how we liked it, because we wanted complete control. We do have auto iris and auto shutter on that, and those settings are set to auto. Everything else is manual because that's the way this camera runs. So anyway, it's kind of a flat gray day. It's partly cloudy, more clouds than there is sun, so it's not the best day anyway. Hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll see y'all on the next one.